Hello there, Sagittarius. Thank you so much for stopping by for your monthly in-depth tarot video forecast. This forecast is going to be for the month of October, and this first time frame that we're going to look at is going to be October the 1st through the 10th, and then after that we'll break it down week by week. I just think that this gives us more information than just doing one monthly with a giant overview. This lets us see a little bit more about how the energies are flowing through the month. And we did just have some cards fall, quite a few of them. We're going to use those as our starter cards on this spread. I'm just realizing I'm not sure if I silenced my phone before I started this, and I want to do that so that I am not distracted. Yep, so let's take care of that. Okay, so Sagittarius, let's start off with your environment. Now, your environment is anywhere where you have energy or effort invested. For most of you, this is generally going to be home, but we want to keep our minds open to where this could be, because I have seen it come up as work or school before too. All right, so when we look at the environment, the first thing that really jumps out at me is that this is an environment that you're returning to, and it may have made you feel depleted. That may have been why you left it before. But you are returning to it now. I feel like you've lost a lot of the stress that you had before. You've kind of worked through that and let that stress go. And so now you're returning to this environment. But once you get there, I think that you're going to be feeling a little bit impatient with this environment to start manifesting things the way that you were hoping they would, since you eliminated some of the results of stress. So there is a little bit of impatience about this environment even after you've returned to it, okay? Now, next thing that we're going to look at has to do with your subconscious leanings, Sagittarius, at least during the time frame of October 1st to the 10th. It looks to me like you've got something on your mind about going away, separating yourself from the normal for you. But the thing is that even though it's tempting to separate yourself from the normal, you can see that that is that place that you want to be, or that detachment that you want to have, is full of illusion, and it's actually not very healthy for you. In fact, I'm just going to say it, I think it's toxic, where you're thinking about going to get away from the normal, regular, everyday stuff. And I think that you're recognizing that. So even in your subconscious, even though it's tempting for you to go away, even in your subconscious, you're not making any plans for you to go away or plans for you to detach, because you're realizing that if you do detach, where you have in mind to detach to or to go away to is toxic itself. I think that even in your subconscious, you're seeing this as going from the frying pan straight into the fire. So not a good solution just yet. And I think that you're having a hard time turning loose of this solution. There is a lot of temptation there to go for that. And so your subconscious is really working around, okay, how could we actually make this work? How could we bypass that toxicity and make this work? So that's what's going on in your subconscious mind so far. I do feel like there is going to be a point where you sort of flip the switch and you come to that understanding of there's no way to eliminate that toxicity. So this is not the plan for me. What is the plan? Where do I want to detach to? But for right now, the 1st through the 10th, I don't see you being there yet. I see that as like the next step in the progression here. Okay, next thing that we're looking at talks to me about learning style first, and then also communication style. So let's take a peek. I feel like there is a lot of truth coming to you about a situation where before things were kind of hazy, the facts were sort of halfway there, but not completely. You're starting to really understand that situation a lot better during this time frame. As far as other learning, I see you being, your mind is very agile. You're able to pick up information and work with it. I don't see you as being particularly interested in a whole lot of new information right now. So there may not be a whole lot that you need to learn, like to make your work go better or around your home. I think that what you are learning is just curiosity stuff, and I think you're getting big picture type of information here. I don't see you as picking up details that you're going to be working with every single day. Yeah, and then you do have a learning where you are picking up details, and this is just building on things that you've learned before and just adding to. So this could be something like, an example would be, if you have a client that you've been working with for a while, whether it's at work or whether it's for your own business, whatever, if you have a client, or even if somebody at work that you've been working with for a while, and you kind of know what they want, what they expect, what makes them tick, what they need from you, as times change, as we deal with different projects, as we move forward, that's always going to be growing and evolving. So some of the information that you're finding out is building on old information. You have that basic information of this person likes for things to be punctual. They like for things to be organized. They like for things to be colorful, or whatever it might happen to be. They like 2 creamers in their coffee, whatever it may be. But now you're adding on new information because now there's new situations coming up. So now you're also realizing, the first report that this person wants on their desk has to do with this particular client or whatever. So I feel like, there is something where you have basic information already that you've accumulated over time, and you're getting more information as you go along. Okay? And that's pretty easy to see. I mean, that's kind of I think most of us do that naturally in our lives, to be honest. But it's being highlighted for you during this particular time frame. Excuse me. All right, next thing that we're looking at here. Oh, I accidentally put 4 cards. We've got some extra detail here. Next thing that we're looking at here. Wait, I didn't even look at communication style. I'm just speeding right through that. Let's look at communication style first, and then we'll come back to that. So for communication style, I do think that there are some things that you're kind of keeping close to the chest, you're holding back, you're not necessarily sharing with everybody. It just got really dark in here. The clouds, sun must be behind the clouds. We're going to fix that. I like the idea of being able to see. Okay, what else about communication style? It does look like you have somebody that you're very close to, that you're communicating with quite a bit. And this may be a romantic interest, but it doesn't have to be. But this is somebody who's in the inner circle. You're communicating with them quite a bit. You may even be giving them gifts of appreciation during this time frame, tell you the truth. And then what else do we have? There is a lot of spiritual communication happening here and a lot of self-reflection. So there may be a lot of communicating with the divine and a lot of looking inside yourself for intuition and paying attention to what makes you tick. Okay, so that's going to be communication style during this time frame. So now let's look at work. Like I said, I had an accidental extra card here. Those of you who know me, you know that work is 2 things to me. It is that thing that we do to make a living or to feel productive in the community if we're not getting paid for the work that we do, or it's that thing that we do, well, and it's also that thing that we do to make us happier with who we are. So that's inner work for me. We're going to start with outer work. Okay, no wonder we have 4 cards. All right, so outer work we start off with during this particular time frame. We start off with that money is not really coming in that needs to come in to cover the budget here. And it looks to me like it may even be that this is the end of a contract or an end of a working agreement with somebody, an end of a partnership if you're in a business partnership with somebody. If you're an employee, you may not be employed by your employer starting at the beginning of this time frame. If you're an employer, you may be cutting loose some employees, but there's this sense of this contract or commitment when it comes to work that's coming to an end. And as it's coming to an end, it's coming to an end in part because there's not enough money actually coming in. And so for me, I think that this is you walking away because they're not paying you well enough. I think this is on you that you're walking away. I think you're putting on your business mind, your business thinking cap, basically, and you're looking at, okay, well, now what are my options, and working on improving those. And I think that whatever it is that you're doing to improve those options is actually making things better for you than what it was before. You know, well, of course it is, because you weren't making enough money before. This is going to be something that helps you recover from that. Now, what it is that you're doing, if you want to get a private reading and see what's best advice to where do I go from here, or what do I do, you know, a private reading would be the place to find that information. For a general information, for a general reading, I'm not able to tell you, you know, which direction is right for each of you individually. I just know that you're looking at things very logically from a business perspective, and you're finding something that helps you to move forward, that puts you in a better position than what you were over here before, where you weren't meeting your budget with your income. Okay, so let's look at inner work. Inner work, inner work, inner work. You haven't been taking very good care of yourself. You've kind of been letting the stress get to you when it comes to inner work. And so it looks to me like you're actually coming up with a very logical plan about how to incorporate better self-care into your life. You may be coming up with a workout routine, or you may be coming up with a diet that you know is healthy, but it looks to me like you're planning on taking better care of yourself as your inner work. All right, next thing that we're going to take a peek at is that part of your personality which is growing or expanding right now as you go through this particular time frame. So what do we have here? Something that you thought was over is no longer over, and this could be something that caused a long-term standing of tension, of debate, of argument. So some type of source of tension that you thought had been put to bed is coming back up. Okay, that's the first thing that I see here. And it looks to me like you have had a break from this. You've had a chance to sort of regroup. You pretty much know how you want to handle this now, because you have had that time to step back and to become more objective about this situation. Problem is, I don't think you were expecting this situation to come back. And so you're a little bit stuck in your head about it. You're having a hard time seeing this from a perspective where you know what to do with the idea that this argument or this debate or this certain source of tension has come back. And so, of course, advice here is step back. You know, get somebody else's perspective on this. Get somebody else's opinion. Somebody who's not standing in the forest and can't see the forest for the trees. You want to get a neutral party's perspective on this so that you can kind of see where you're getting yourself all twisted up. Okay? So this doesn't mean that, okay, well, I'm going to tell my best friend all about this and I'm going to see what they have to say. No, because your best friend is biased for you. And they're not going to give you necessarily the most objective advice that's going to help you move forward. They're going to give you emotional advice, which may or may not be good. You want to find somebody that's objective and kind of get their perspective. Somebody who's more neutral. Now, you don't even actually have to have the conversation with them. If you can just imagine how that conversation would go and imagine what their reaction might be, a lot of times that can get you the answers that you need so that you can move forward with this and you can figure out what you want to do with this source of tension as they come back. Okay? It's interesting that I still find you in this stuck place because you've had time to regroup. You've had time to step back and think about this. And yet you're still stuck. So that tells me this is something where you're kind of grinding your gears here. This is something where a little bit of spiritual work would really help you. This may be a situation where Reiki would really actually help to kickstart a solution out of this too. Okay, so that, because to me this looks like you're stuck in some kind of cycle or pattern. And Reiki is really good about helping with breaking free of cycles and patterns. All right, but anyway, I do offer long distance Reiki, by the way, since we're talking about Reiki. If you're going to get Reiki, at least consider me if you would. All right, let's look next at those things that you stand for right now in this particular time frame, Sagittarius. What do we have? Well, you're not feeling very secure. Well, we kind of saw that with work, didn't we? Where we saw that you weren't making enough money. And you're also feeling like there's somebody who has shown you their true colors. And once you saw their true colors, your opinion of them dropped down by a couple of notches. This is somebody who, I want to say, does not have generosity of spirit. Okay? Generosity is financial. Generosity of spirit includes the financial, but it also talks about the ability to really appreciate each person for who they are and not for what they bring to the table. Okay? So I think that you thought this person really had a lot of generosity of spirit, where they appreciated each person just for the fact that they were a person with valid points. And now you're seeing that this person is not someone who's generous, who has generosity of spirit, that they really see a person for what they can bring to them. For most of you, this is probably a female that you're seeing their true colors. And I think that somebody is saying to you, well, you know, maybe you're talking about this person or something that happened, and somebody's saying to you, wait a sec, I can't believe you're talking like that about this person. I thought you were their biggest fan. And so you have to defend yourself for what you're saying. You have to say, well, yeah, well, I've seen a different side of them that I hadn't seen before. Things are not the same. They're not what I thought they were. Okay? How is this other person seeing you once you've had this conversation? They're seeing you as somebody who is very, very secure. And they're also seeing you as somebody who is ready to start a new adventure. And somebody who is forgiving, who's able to forgive and let go of things and move forward well. But they're seeing you as basically you're forgiving, you know, you're accepting and you're forgiving. You're not holding a grudge about this situation. That's what they're seeing. And yet you are moving on. You're moving on to the next thing. And they're also seeing you as being very stable and grounded in this, and also being very abundant. Okay. Now, abundance isn't just about money, guys. There's a lot that's involved with abundance. All right, Sagittarius. Next thing that we're looking at is going to be your flex point during this time frame. Flex point during this time frame is just where things start to take on a little bit of a different direction for you. Let's see what we have here. You're definitely making some plans. Ooh, you're making some plans to do your own thing. And I think you're making plans to do your own thing because there was this thing that happened to you that really wasn't fair. You didn't call it upon yourself. You know, it did not come about because of actions you took. And so it really wasn't fair. Like COVID, it's not really fair. And yet it's had a major impact on so many of us. And this to me comes up like something like that, like something that where, you know, things happened in a way that wasn't fair to you, but it opened your eyes. It was a wake-up call that now you're making plans, and you're making plans to do things on your own. You may be planning to start your own business, you know, whether it's on the side from something full-time or whether you're just planning on just taking that leap and going full-time into your own thing. Looks to me like whatever this was that worked out unfairly towards you has really kickstarted you into deciding, you know what, I'm going to take my future into my own hands. I'm going to start my own thing where I'm not dependent on anybody else to make decisions regarding me. I'm just dependent on me to do what I need to do to bring in my money. Okay? And my abundance. Now, what else is going on? Definitely, wow, you're taking charge. You're definitely taking charge. You may even be consulting somebody like in the field of accounting or the field of law. You could even be consulting somebody who's a medical professional as well, for some of you. But I have a sense that this is going to be about more, for most of you, this is going to be about consulting somebody about numbers, consulting somebody about accounting, about what's the best way to plan this, what's the best way to do this, what's the best way to make sure that my plans are successful. All right? What else is going on at the same time? So you have somebody that's showing up from the past. Could be a romantic partner from the past, could be a business associate from the past, could be a business partner from the past, could be a friend from the past. And when this person shows up, first of all, I don't think that you have enough good memories with them to be like, oh, wow, I'm so happy I haven't seen you in so long. It's so good to see you. I don't think that's the reaction. It might be what you're saying on the outside. It's certainly not what you're thinking on the inside. There's a lot of confusion for you when this person shows up. I think a lot of you Sagittarians are asking, well, what does this mean? What does this mean that the universe or that God would bring this person back into my life right now? What's the timing of this? What does this mean? I think a lot of you are actually asking that, and it's bringing a lot of confusion to you. You have goals. You have things that you want to accomplish. And I think as you're looking at this person from the past, I think they want to come back into your life. And I think you're looking at your goals and your purposes that you want to accomplish. And you're thinking, you know what? I'm not sure that you're in line with those. Like, I'm not sure that you are going the same direction that I'm going. I'm not sure that, you know, we're equally yoked or that we're a good match. And that doesn't have to be just romantic either. That could be a business partner. If you have a business partner that, you know, is wanting to accomplish something different than you do, then that's not a good match. So I think you're really questioning that. There's a lot of confusion around that for you. I think at one point you thought that this person was the ideal. Now, when they're coming back, you have to really question that because of the experiences you had in the past with them. Okay? La da da da. How do we see you ending the week, Sagittarius? There's some kind of movement coming in here. I'm not sure if you're going on vacation, if you're moving jobs, if you're moving where you live, but there's definitely some kind of movement coming in here. And we're also seeing that you're making a decision about this person from the past that wants to come back in that was causing so much confusion just a couple seconds ago. You're deciding, no, I don't want to get things going back with you again. That's not happening. But you do have some new ideas about some things that you want to do, and I think you're taking action on those. I think that's what this movement is all about. You may be taking trips to find investors for your new idea. Or you may be taking trips to find manufacturing plants that would be able to manufacture your new invention. You know? Or if you have a new idea about the type of work that you would like to do, you may be interviewing in different places that do that type of work instead of what you used to do. But there's definitely something going on here about this new spark, this new idea, this new inspiration for you that you are taking action on, you're moving forward with, and there is some type of physical movement involved in you taking action with that. And also at the same time, you're cutting off that old thing. You've made the decision, you know what? I've got my goals. I've got my goals. I have to push towards those, and you're probably a distraction, so no. So that's where we see you at the end of the week, Sagittarius. Let me go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to take a little break, and then we'll come back and we'll look at the next week of October. Thanks for being here. All right, Sagittarians, we are back. This time we're going to look at October 11th through the 17th. We had cards start to fall just as I was barely starting to shuffle. We're not going to call those part of the deal just yet. If they need to show up again, I'm sure they will. But that does say that there's a little bit of chaos going on for you guys during October 11th to the 17th, whenever we have cards just kind of fall out like that. So let's see what shall come up for you. Right now I'm still shuffling just because it feels like I need to be, which tells me you do have a lot going on as far as what you're thinking about too. So not only is there chaos that's happening in a physical, tangible way, there's also a lot that's on your mind during this time. That card I'm going to take. Those two cards that just jumped out. And we may as well just go ahead and start putting them down, right? Sagittarius, Sagittarius, Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarians. Let's start with your environment. Environment is any place where you have energy or effort invested. You are taking responsibility for the environment that you're in right now, and you're also collaborating with other people. So when I say that you're taking responsibility and you're collaborating, you could be the team leader, or you could be calling in contractors or calling in people to help. Okay, but you're collaborating with other people, but the ultimate responsibility here is yours. And the other thing that I see about your environment is that you are manifesting what you want in your environment. So you are creating some of those things that you want. You're collaborating with other people to do it, and you're taking responsibility. You're taking leadership or ownership or authority over manifesting those things that you want, even with calling in people to help you. Okay? So that's what we have for your environment. That can be home, that can be work, that can be school. It's going to be someplace where you have energy or effort invested. All right, Sagittarians, let's look at your subconscious leanings. So there is something that has come to an end for you, Sagittarians, and I think that it's a relief that it's come to an end. It looks like there was a situation where somebody was being less than honest with you. They were happy for you to believe illusions. I feel like for a lot of you, this person was not outright lying, although they might have been playing some kind of word games to allow you to think certain things that they weren't actually really saying. And I think that them stepping out of the picture or being booted out of the picture, whichever the case may be for you, has actually left you feeling quite empowered and stable, and it's allowed you to find some grounding. And so your subconscious is really working on that. It may be that that hasn't come to an end yet, and your subconscious is working on how to bring it to an end in a way that is grounding and stabilizing for you. Or it may be that it has already happened and your subconscious is really working out. It might have happened really quickly and your subconscious is working out. Wow, what was that? What just happened there? One way or the other. And I think some of you are going to have it one way where it's already happened. Some of you are going to have it where it's coming up. Okay? Now, next thing that I'm looking at for you Sagittarians during this time frame is talking to me about learning style and also communication style. So when I'm looking at learning style, there's a lot that is changing when it comes to how you view things, how you understand things, your perspective on things. There's a lot that's doing a complete 180, completely changing and transmuting. You are picking up a lot of new information through your curiosity, just bringing that in, and there's a lot of truth. There's a lot of truth that is coming in and sort of shining its light on situations in your life where before you might have had some kind of hazy information that wasn't really exactly right. Well, now you're getting in a lot of light on the subject. You're really seeing what's going on right in front of your nose. So that's learning style. Communication style right now. You do have some communication. This is fascinating, actually, Sagittarius. You do have some communication going on. That's happening day, it's happening night, it's happening day, it's happening night. So for me, what this is really telling me is that you're communicating. You may be communicating with people that are in different time zones than you. So where it's day where you are, night where they are, or vice versa. You may also be communicating something online. You may have a YouTube channel. You may have Instagram, but something where the messages that you're sending out are available to the people who are interested in those messages 24/7. Sagittarians, some of you may be creating some type of lesson plan or learning plan that people can buy, and they can access those at any time. But there's something here about some of your communication is being out to the world 24/7 all the time, daytime, nighttime, whether you're sleeping, whether you're awake, whatever. Okay? So that's one thing that's coming up about communication. Another thing that's happening is there's a lot of communication around health, around fitness, around healing that's coming in for you right now, Sagittarius. And when I say it's coming in, I feel like it's the energy that's coming in. You may be doing a lot of this communication. You could be putting a lot of this communication out there. You could be receiving this communication. This could be what you're talking about as you put it out there online to be accessed whenever. Doesn't have to be, but could be. The other thing that I see coming up is there is some kind of communication that is of a little bit of a darker nature, lower level energy that's showing up here. And this is something where there's somebody who, I think you guys are trading insults. You're trading barbs. There's somebody that you're not happy to hear from, and they don't really say the types of things that you would like to hear. And so you go into I don't want to say self-defense mode because it doesn't feel like self-defense to me. You go straight into, oh, well, so you're going to insult me. Well, guess what? I can insult you 3 times more. Watch this. That type of thing. Okay? So you want to be careful. You don't want to get triggered into something like that. You don't want to meet somebody on their level when their level is that low, because that never brings anything good for us when we do that, does it? No. All right, so the beauty of having readings like this ahead of time is that we can see the energies before they come in. We can catch them as they're coming in and head them in a different direction. We have free will. You guys can make all my cards on this table complete liars if you want. That's the beauty of having a reading ahead of time. You have a heads up about the things that you may want to change. All right. By the way, they really wouldn't be liars, like they're protesting that I use that word, because they are presenting the energy as it sits right now. But you can make these cards. You can make a different manifestation than what the cards are showing from the energy right now. They wouldn't be liars. I'm sorry, guys. They just said, well, that's better. All right, so next thing that we're looking at has to do with work, Sagittarius. So what do we have here? You may be working from home. This is interesting to me because you have some contradiction going on here. So it could be that you have 2 things that you do for work. Maybe you work for 2 different employers, or maybe you do something on the side and you have, you know, a more regular or normal job. Excuse me. I do think that there is some work going on that is work from home. Okay, that's the first thing that comes up to me very clearly, that you're very comfortable at work. This is work from home. It could be, I guess it could be that the office feels like home, but I think that's going to be much rarer. I think for most of you, this is talking about working from home. Here's the thing. This is where it goes contradictory. This working from home thing, it could have you broke. You could be broke. Maybe they're not paying you enough for what you do. Maybe they're just not paying you enough, period. Okay? But here's the other thing. This is where it gets interesting. At the same time, and maybe this is not happening from the same people. Maybe this is happening from 2 different sources. But at the same time that you're not getting paid enough and that you're broke even with working from home, at the same time, you're getting accolades, you're getting compliments, you're getting thank yous, you're getting kudos from somebody for the work that you've put in on a project that not only benefits yourself but also other people as well. So people appreciate what you do. They just don't pay you for it. Now that's messed up. I'll tell you straight up, that's messed up. That's what makes me wonder if, because that's not normal. That's what makes me wonder if you have like one employer who is just not paying you enough, and you have another employer, or maybe something that you do on the side, and you're receiving all kinds of compliments and accolades. So you may have two things going on there. If you don't have two things going on there, you're in a messed up situation where these people appreciate what you do, but they're not paying you, or not paying you enough. What you going to do about that? All right. If you need best advice about what to do about that, private reading. Pick me for a private reading. All right. Let's look at inner work. Okay, so Sagittarius, your inner work has to do with the idea of a poverty mindset or thought processes that sort of lead you to this lack mentality. And I think what you're doing at this point in time is you're overcoming those. You're working your way around those. You're figuring out how to overcome those blockages in your life because you're kind of tired of the lack. You would like to have some have, not lack. And so you're working on that during this time frame. You're bringing that in. All right, next thing that we're looking at. This talks to me about that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. This is so interesting. This really ties in with your inner work here. What we have showing up here is the idea that there's not enough finances, there's not enough resources, and you're aware of this. Like your belt is tight. You're making budget adjustments for this. While this is going on, you are, how do I want to say this that you're not accepting that this is the best that can be, okay? So don't take this the wrong way. But you are accepting the situation, and you're accepting that this situation is this way because of the decisions that you have made leading up to here. Okay? Remember, inner work is about coming past those obstacles of lack. This really ties in with that. It's coming into that acceptance of you can see how your decisions have led you to this place where you kind of have to tighten up your belt. And not only are you accepting that it was your decisions that got you here, you are letting yourself off the hook. You're forgiving yourself for that, which is great. Because I'm going to tell you right now, every single person I know, whether it has to do with finances, relationships, or anything else, we're all doing the best that we know how with the tools that we have at hand, the tools that we've been equipped with along the way in our life. And this is where you're letting yourself off the hook. You're saying, you know what, have been doing the best that I could all of my life with what I was taught about money and abundance. And so I'm not beating myself up for what's happened in the past anymore. But I am recognizing that my decisions are what has brought me here. And I'm forgiving myself for those decisions because I was doing the best I could. But remember, your inner work was about coming out of those self-defeating financial abundance thoughts and coming into something new. And so you are making this better. The first step into making something better is accepting that there's a problem here that needs to be fixed. This is what I'm seeing as that part of your personality that's growing or expanding right now. You're recognizing there's a problem here that needs to be fixed, and you're at that point of, I'm not blaming myself for this problem. What I was doing was a perfectly sane reaction to an insane situation from before, and now those coping mechanisms don't work anymore. And so now it's time to come up with different mechanisms to get me through the situations that come up in life. I love it. This is growth. This is expansion. This is fantastic. This is deep work that you're doing, Sagittarius. Next thing that we're looking at talks to me about that part of you that you are, well, no. This is talking about what you stand up for, what you defend. Okay? So, what do we have here? You have been working on finding your balance. Now, finding your balance can apply in a lot of different ways. Everything that is leaning in a certain direction in this reading leads me to believe that finding your balance may be finding your balance in your checkbook to where you're in the black and not the red. You're not in the overdraft protection all the time using that. Okay? Doesn't have to be that, but everything else is sort of leaning about financial stuff. And so that makes me think this probably is too. We've kind of got a theme going already. But it doesn't have to be. This could be about finding balance with your time, finding balance with your energy. There's a lot of options in front of you. Okay, you have a lot of things to choose from. And so finding balance is really key. When we have a lot of options to choose from, it's really easy to scatter our energy or to scatter our finances. But you're finding balance. You're acknowledging the options. You're seeing these options, but you're still keeping your balance. And you're taking action that allows you to hold on to your balance with those options that you have in front of you. So in other words, you're focusing on a target or a goal, and you're not scattering your energy. You're not scattering your finances. You're focused on that target or goal, and you're taking that action that you need to take to move forward with it. And what's going on here is that somebody is saying something to you. They're kind of confronting you about this. Maybe they don't like what it was that you chose to focus on. Too bad. You're basically having to tell them that, you know what, this is my decision. I think I'm doing it well. And I think I need you to get over on your side of the street and pay attention to your decisions. That's what we've got going on there. Now, how does that other person perceive you once you've had this conversation? They see you as somebody who is really happy. They also see you as somebody who is thinking outside the square, thinking outside the box, finding creative solutions for situations coming up in your life, and enjoying life, living it to its fullest. And they're also feeling like they're not so happy about that. They're a little jealous, to be honest with you. They're a little jealous that you're able to do this. What I'm hearing is they want to be your rescuer. If you're rescuing yourself, they can't be your rescuer. So here's a person that should have your best interest at heart that actually is hoping that you don't do so well so they can come in and look like the hero. Guess what? That's not having your best interest at heart. That's having their best interest at heart. Be careful of this person. And yes, you will know who it is. If you don't right now, you will. A lot of you know right now who it is that I'm talking about. All right. Next up, what we're going to look at is what happens to you during the flex period of this week. So this is where things start to change direction a little bit for you. Maybe you start to see some manifestation of all this work you've been doing. Let's find out. So there's something that has brought you great sadness, heartache, and you are healing from that, and you are continuing on with that healing from that. Interesting, it hasn't really showed up anywhere else in the beginning of this spread, but it's shown up here in this flex point, which tells me it's kind of been happening in the background anyway. So you've been healing from some kind of heartache or heartbreak. You're continuing on with that healing. And as you're continuing on with that healing, the universe is rewarding you. You have, at some point before this, let the universe know about some things that you would like to have or that you need. The universe is bringing those into you now. You're manifesting those things that you need now as you continue your healing. Actually, continuing that healing is the key. to manifesting those things that you've let the universe know you would like to have or that you need. What else is going on during this time frame, Sagittarius? You're really getting in touch with your emotions. Well, that's part of healing a heartache, isn't it? You're really getting in touch with healing your emotions. And I think that it's a challenge for you. As I'm like looking into this, what I'm seeing is a little kid that's really fidgeting, trying to fight sleep. And I feel like looking into your emotions and you know, deeply and doing some healing work is something that you really try to avoid most of the time. And I think you're a little bit fidgety about this. Metaphorically speaking, like you're trying to put your attention like anywhere but fix these emotions. But you have somebody who cares about you greatly that is helping you to focus. This person who really cares about you, who really loves you, is helping you focus so that you can do what you need to do to heal this heartache or heartbreak. What else is going on at the same time? Your self-esteem is really hurting right now. And I think your self-esteem is really hurting because there's something that is really going through a major shakeup in your life at the same time that you're healing from a heartache or a heartbreak. At the same time that you have this other person helping you with this healing and with this emotional work, there is something else that's being shook up in your life right now, and it's making your self-esteem take a nosedive, and it's causing you a lot of stress as you sort it out. Here's the thing though, whatever this is, and this feels really separate from the heartache and the heartbreak, whatever this shakeup is, this is something that is really more of a wake-up call than anything else. And what it does is it allows you to see where there were problems before, and it allows you to go in and sort of tear down that structure so that you can rebuild it. And when you rebuild it, you can rebuild it minus those problems. So it's actually better. Your ending situation is better than your beginning situation. So is it causing a lot of stress? Yes. Is it causing a nosedive on the self-esteem? Yes. Is that stuff temporary because you're going to find a solution? Yes. Okay. So where do we see you at the end of the week, Sagittarius? You guys are really manifesting a solution really fast because we do see you as pulling in those things that you love, as receiving those things that you love and that make you happy from the universe. We've got the Wheel of Fortune here. This is good times for you. Things are going well. Things are going smoothly. So there might have just been a shakeup. Yeah, oh well. That shakeup was very beneficial and it's already turning around. And we're also seeing that you're getting the attention of somebody. There's somebody who is paying attention to you romantically. For some of you, this is a secret admirer, but for others of you, this is somebody that's coming out of the woodwork that you had no idea before. Okay? Yeah. Do I want to talk about that a little more? Yes, I do want to talk about that a little more. This person that's coming out of the woodwork, that's a secret admirer, I know where your brains are going. We're going straight to romance. For some of you, yeah, that'll be true. But for a lot of you, this is not about romance. This is about somebody who just admires what you do or admires how you carry yourself or would like to get to know you better as a friend. There is something about you that they really are impressed with. And they're going to, I think a lot of them are going to be letting you know. Some of them not yet. I feel like some of them, like 40% are not going to be saying anything yet during this time frame, but they're definitely going to be noticing you. For others of you, about 70% of you, yeah, they're going to be letting you know. And I'm not taking romance off the table. For some of you, this is romantic, probably about half of you, but not for all of you. Okay, just to be clear. All right, so Sagittarius, that covers October 11th through the 17th. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to take a little break, clear my energy again, and come back, and we'll look at the next week. See you soon. Okay, Sagittarius, here we go again. This time we're looking at October 18th through the 24th, seeing what kind of energies show up for you during that time frame. Let's see what we have. See what we have. I'm reminded as I'm shuffling of this little toy I had when I was a little girl. I was a little girl in the 70s, born in November of '69. And so one of the toys, I think it was actually my brother's, but I played with it quite a bit, was a little blue plastic guitar, which had a picture of Winnie the Pooh on it. And it played this little song. It didn't, you actually just wound it up. And I don't remember the exact words, but I do remember that the whole gist of it was about walking over the hill or over the mountain, something like that, to see what was there. That's kind of what I feel like these readings are. We're peeking into the energies to see what is there. These are general reads. Whenever I do my monthlies, that means love could show up, but also business stuff could show up, work, career stuff could show up, family stuff could show up. So we're just looking at the main themes, whatever those might happen to be. Most of my readings, I don't point in a certain direction. I don't make them love readings or career readings. It's really all about, okay, well, what's going on in your life? What's going to show up in this reading for you? Okay, first thing that I'm looking at for you, Sagittarius, is, of course, again, environment. I'm feeling like there's an environment that you really like, and it actually makes you feel really good about yourself, about your self-esteem, and you're starting something new, Sagittarians. For some of you, this could be that you've moved into a whole new place, a whole new neighborhood, a whole new home. For others of you, this could be that you've hired a cleaning crew to come and help you clean up and you're just really loving it. For some of you, you could have put an addition onto the home and you're really loving that. You could have had the yard landscaped. If this is home environment, it doesn't have to be home environment. It could be work environment for some of you as well. Either way, there's a whole fresh start in your environment, and it's something that actually builds your self-esteem, so you identify with it, and it's something that you're very happy about, okay? So, that's cool. What a great way to start the read. I love it. I love it. Let's look next at your subconscious leanings. So there's something going on here where you're feeling pessimistic about one of three things, Sagittarius. Either a particular romantic relationship, romance in general, or people in general. And I think that you are actually communicating with Sacred Spirit about this. And you're communicating with Sacred Spirit about what you would like from your relationships, whether we're talking about romantic relationship or just relationships in general. You're saying to Sacred Spirit, wouldn't it be nice if people were loyal? Or wouldn't it be nice if people just were communicative? Or wouldn't it be nice if people just told the truth? That type of thing. Communicating to the universe what you would like to have, what you would like to see in your relationships. And it looks like you're receiving some kind of gift, I think, from the universe after making this communication to them. But that's what's on your subconscious mind. I think your subconscious knows how law of attraction works, knows how the universe works. And your subconscious may really be working out this whole idea about this pessimism around this situation and maybe working out, okay, well, how do I make things better? And recognizing that, that communication with the universe is the first step. So your subconscious is really working on improving that situation is how I'm taking those cards. La da da da, whether it's romantic or whether it's just general relationships. Okay. If you guys are hearing a bell, I'm not sure if this microphone picks it up, but that is my roommate's cat just scratching at her neck. I think she doesn't really like her collar. She's managed to pull collars off before. She likes her freedom. So do you, huh? Sagittarius, have you been getting kind of itchy about the things that tie you down lately, or the things that hold you in? About being confined in some way? I think you have. I think you have. Let's see what else shows up in your reading, though. Next, we're looking at learning style and also communication style. I think that you've got a mixed bag whenever it comes to learning style right now. Some of the things that you're learning about are very much the truth. They're very much open and upfront, and you can read it like a book, and it's just all the information that you could want is there. And then you've got somebody else that you're learning things about or learning things from, and everything is sort of hidden and masked in illusion. I'm hearing this is the same person, just different topics whenever you're talking to them. So this is the same person that's being open like a book about some things, but also hiding things in illusion about other topics. So you want to be kind of careful. You want to be kind of careful. How do you know which is which? That could be interesting. I do think that some of the things that you're learning about are things that are causing emotions in you, and some of the emotions that they're causing are happiness, but I think that you've got a lot going on that's causing emotions that are not exactly happiness. I think there's a range of emotions that are on the more lower level side, like, frustration, anger, bitterness, jealousy. Some of those are really coming in too about some of the things that you're finding out about or that you're learning right now. These are the types of things that I would expect to see if you were finding out, that somebody that you love was in some type of abusive relationship and you never had any idea before, and now you're finding this out, that type of thing. But there's also some happiness with some of the things that you're finding out too. So I feel like where you may be finding out something that makes you feel more negative, I think you're also finding out that the end result or the outcome of the situation is not a negative outcome, and that part does make you feel good. I also feel like some of the things that you're learning during this time frame are causing you to lose positive emotions towards somebody else in your sphere of influence. Where you might have felt really positive towards them before, I think now you're feeling nothing. Which to me is worse than feeling anger or hate. Feeling nothing is really an interesting outcome here. Let's look at your communication style. I think you're trying to be very balanced and logical in your communication. You don't want to overdo the emotions, but you also don't want to take emotions out as you're communicating, and so you are communicating in a very balanced way. I think there's also a lot of reflection in your communication. So you're talking about things that you're reflecting on yourself and the understandings that you have of yourself, but also I feel like there's this idea of, as somebody tells you something, you're coming back with that active listening type of thing where you're saying, so what I'm hearing you say is dot, 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 dot. Is that right? Am I understanding you correctly? That type of reflection also comes up strongly here, because I think it's really important to you that you understand what people are trying to tell you about. And I also get the sense that some of the things that people are trying to tell you about are so far out of your normal realm of experience that it can be sort of a struggle to take it all in. And then the last thing that I see you communicating about is your hopes and your dreams for somebody, for yourself, first of all, but also for other people in your sphere of influence. You have hopes and dreams for them too. This may be children or parents but obviously somebody you care about if you have hopes and dreams for them. And I think that you're communicating back and forth. Look, this is what I hope for from me, but I also have hopes for you too. Um, and I kind of get the sense that there may be somebody that wants you to support them, support them, support them, support them to the point that you're not able to follow your hopes and dreams for yourself. And I think that you're having to have a very mature conversation with this person and say to them, you know, I don't mind supporting you. I do want you to do well, but I also want me to do well too. And so some of my resources have to go towards that goal as well. Everything I have can't go towards you. And I think, like I said, I think you're having a very mature conversation about that with somebody in your life. Okay, Sagittarians, what's next? Work is what's next. Work, 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 work for Sagittarius. I do think you're finding a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment in the work that you're doing during this particular time frame. This is interesting. I think there's somebody in your sphere of influence at work that how do I want to say this in an accurate way? I think you're doing really well in your work, like as in, well, first of all, you're finding satisfaction and fulfillment in it. You're doing it well. When we find satisfaction and fulfillment in our work, we throw our hearts into that and we do it well. And I think there's somebody that's jealous of how well you do it and resentful. I think that they are feeling threatened by how well it is that you do the work that you do. They're feeling like your competition is what I'm picking up. And they feel like if you continue to do this well, they won't even be able to handle to you. And so they're a little bit resentful. And I think you're going to be picking up little ticks of resentment coming in from them along the way here and there. Maybe big ones sometimes. Excuse me for shaking the table. I don't think that that is going to keep you from feeling satisfaction or fulfillment in your work. I think that in spite of this other person's feelings, you're still going to continue on because I think, Sagittarius, that you feel really passionate about this work that you're doing. You feel like it serves a purpose. And somebody being jealous or petty about it is not about to take you off your path because you feel like you're on your path. I think for a lot of you, you feel like what you're doing is your calling. And to dumb it down because somebody's feeling jealous or upset or threatened is not an option for you. Okay, let's look at inner work. Let's look at inner work. Really, I think your inner work is about understanding. It really ties in with regular work. Understand this other person feels these negative feelings about how well you're doing your job. I think that that is hard for you to even comprehend. And I think the inner work is just trying to understand where that person's coming from, because I feel like Sagittarians, where you are not about to slow down on how well you're doing your work, at the same time, you don't want this to be something that is a detractor from how well you get along with this other person. And so I think your inner work is really trying to understand where they're coming from so that you can figure out a way to continue on your path in a way that's not threatening to this other person. And so your inner work is just figuring out what's making them tick, what's making them act the way that they're acting, what's making them feel the way they're feeling. Excuse me. All right, next thing that we're looking at is that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now. The first thing I'm going to say is there is some truth coming out, and this truth is coming out in a situation that you knew was kind of fishy. You knew that you didn't have all the information there, and so this truth is actually coming out. I think when it comes out, it does cause a fight. It does cause a fight. And it causes a rift between you and the person that this truth is coming out about or around. At the same time, I think this truth coming out from this other person or about this other person, I'm not exactly sure, maybe both, helps you see the truth about somebody else and helps you to have a much better opinion of them. I think it causes you, it doesn't just help you, it causes you to have a much better opinion of this other person when this truth comes out. The person that the truth comes out about or comes out from, not impressed. You're not impressed. But when that truth comes out, it does reveal something about another person that's in your sphere of influence that you didn't realize. And now you have a lot of admiration for that person. Okay? All right. What do you stand for during this time frame? I think that you've been finding yourself to be really bored lately, and so you have taken something off the back burner that you used to do or something that you used to participate in, whether it's a hobby or whether it's, you know, an old type of work that you did or whatever. And I think that you're really enjoying the newness and the fresh energy of doing that old thing again. It's really working to alleviate the boredom that you were feeling before. Now, you're having to stand up for this. Somebody may not understand why you didn't want to just twiddle your thumbs all the time. I don't know. But you're having to defend yourself for this. And what is this person thinking that you had to defend yourself to? How do they feel about you, or what do they think about you? They see you as somebody who's very independent. I'm hearing very stubborn. You're going to make your mind up about things regardless of other people's input. In other words, you're not going to be swayed or influenced by what somebody else has to say. You're going to think for yourself. That's how they're seeing you. They also see you as somebody who doesn't have a lot of energy. It's interesting because this shows that you are having a lot of energy for that old thing that you're bringing back out of the closet. They're seeing you as not having a lot of energy, which tells me that they want you to do something that's more their idea than your idea. And you don't have a lot of energy left for that. And so they're seeing you as not having a lot of energy. And not only that, they're seeing you as just stubbornly unwilling to change. So they may be feeling a little bit insulted or left out that you're focusing on this other thing from the past instead of focusing on them and whatever it is that they want you to focus on. All right, Sagittarius. Next thing that we're going to look at is what's happening as you go through your flex period. And the flex period is where things start to change direction a little bit for you during this particular time frame. What's happening? There is somebody that the two of you had sort of taken each other, and they are coming back from the past, and they're coming back really unexpectedly, Sagittarius. I think you're going to be surprised whenever you see this person from the past. Okay? That could even be the thing that you've sort of taken off the shelf and now you're giving attention to, is this person coming back from the past. That would make a person in the present feel a little bit jilted, you know? Could be. Doesn't have to be, but it could be. Now, what else is going on at the same time that somebody's coming back from the past that is a surprise? Yeah, there's something going on that is definitely not planned. This is somebody that I think you had cut out. You had cut out before, and I think you had cut them out because you just really didn't see how things were going to work out between the two of you in any kind of positive way. Now, it's interesting because I'm seeing that you had cut them out, but when they're coming back, you're happy to see them. That makes me wonder what happened, what was up. What else is going on at the same time frame? There is an ending that's coming in here, and this may be with the present person. This person from the past may be causing you to end something with somebody that you're with currently, and moving forward into something that you're expecting to be better. You want a reciprocal relationship with this other person from the past, or with this other company from the past. And I will tell you, this can be a person like romantic interest coming back from the past. This can be a friend coming back from the past, but I think it's causing a breakup, so it's probably not a friend. The other thing it could be some type of employer-employee type of situation where either or the employee, but somebody's coming back from the past, and you're either going back into their company, and so you're quitting this other company. That would be the breakup that I'm seeing, or the ending that I'm seeing here. Or it could be that, you know, you're hiring, you know, if this person came back from the past and they said, I'd like to offer you your old job back, you could be coming back, and then what's going on is that other person that has been filling your position is going to be gone. But there's definitely an ending here as you're coming back into a reciprocal relationship. If this is about a job, situation, then the pay is fair. Then the pay is fair. All right, let's look at where we see you at the end of this particular time frame, Sagittarius. You are definitely following your intuition. You are sort of keeping your boundaries up between yourself and other people or another person. And you're following your intuition, and you're really looking down the road. You're looking at, what type of legacy am I leaving? That's what you're looking at. How is what I am doing now impacting the people who are in my sphere of influence for the long term? And am I happy with the legacy that I'm leaving? That's something that you're really reviewing and thinking about as we see you at the end of this time frame. And you have your boundaries up with other people so that you can really take the time to think this through, rather than just kind of go with the flow and end up wherever you end up, because that legacy is important to you. What are you teaching your kids? What are you teaching the other people in your sphere of influence? What are you showing them by example? That's what you're thinking about, and you're keeping the boundaries up until you figured out what it is you want to show by example. And then you can take down the boundaries where appropriate. And I think you're following your intuition very strongly on this, on how to show by example the things that you want to impress upon the people in your sphere of influence, so that you do leave a lasting legacy. Okay? All right, so that is that time frame. Thank you once again for being here. I will see you guys back here in just a few minutes. Welcome back, Sagittarius. This is going to be for the time frame October 25th through the 31st. Let's just see what comes up for you guys. What comes up for Sagittarius? What comes up for Sagittarius? What comes up for Sagittarius? The 25th through the 31st. Okay, here we go. All right, Sagittarius, cards are on the table. Let's take a peek for you. The first thing that we're looking at is environment. Looks like you feel like your environment is one that is full of abundance. However, we have some kind of decision here that is really not fair towards you, and it looks like because this decision that's coming up is not really fair towards you, I think you're the one that's putting the most energy and effort into this environment and into making this environment abundant, actually. The next thing that we have showing up, Sagittarius, talks to me about your subconscious leanings. I got to tell you, it feels to me like you're having some kind of inner turmoil here, and I think that you are considering going back to something that you know has a negative impact on you, but you're thinking about going back to it just because of the money or the financial security anyway. And so this is what's going on, is this internal turmoil, push-pull in your subconscious over whether you really want to do that or not. Next thing that we have going on talks to me about, first of all, your learning style, and secondly, your communication style. I do feel like you're learning some cold hard facts right now, and I think that all you're interested in are the cold hard facts. You don't want to hear somebody's spin on this. You don't want to hear their take on this. You don't want to hear one side or the other side. You just want some hard cold facts here. Okay, and that's what you're taking in. That's the only thing you're allowing in for whatever this topic is. Other things coming up as learning style. There are some things going on in your environment or in your sphere of influence that are not things that would make the people involved feel the most proud. And so you may be learning some things about somebody's shadow side who's in your sphere of influence that I think that you might have had some suspicions about before, but I don't think you were really sure. And I think even though you sort of had suspicions, I think they weren't strong enough to keep you from feeling surprised to find out this new information about them. Other thing as far as learning style during this particular period, what's going on here? I feel like there's something that you're learning that the reason you're learning it is because someone else is requiring you to, or telling you it would be a good idea to, suggesting it. Not so much because you're necessarily interested in it or really want to know about it, but just because somebody else is telling you it would be good if you did. Okay? Communication style. I do feel like there's something here as far as communication that goes out on the airwaves. So this could be internet communication, email, social, what do you call those? Social web pages? I don't even remember right now. Y'all know what I mean. Facebook, LinkedIn, blah, 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 etc., etc. This could be that type of communication going out. I feel like that communication is not perfect. It may be restricting you somewhat as you're trying to send that communication out, or there may be some lost in translation type of stuff going on as well. Also for communication, I do think that you have some really exciting ideas that you are hiding from the world. You're not communicating about them. You're sort of keeping those secret. And I think also there is somebody, probably most of the people in your sphere of influence, that you're being pretty open with. You know, whatever they ask you, you're happy enough to answer their questions. Like I said, I still think that you have some ideas that you're keeping secrets, but I don't think anybody's asking you about those because they don't have a clue to ask about them. Okay? So that's your communication style during this particular time frame. Sagittarius, Sagittarius. Next thing we're looking at is your work. Workity work, work. What do we have? A lot of confusion around work again. I don't think we had this last time, but we had it earlier in the month. There is a lot of confusion around work again. You are feeling vulnerable when it comes to work because I think you're putting in a lot of energy and effort in spite of this confusion. And it looks to me like there were problems at work before and you've sort of gotten past those and putting in energy and effort, but there's still this whole confusion and this whole sense of vulnerability with your work. So it may be that nobody really knows what's going to happen to the company tomorrow or next week or next month or whatever. But there is just that sense of I just don't know. Am I putting too much energy and effort in here? That type of thing. As far as inner work is really right now all about healing, letting go, forgiving, not holding on to any kind of negative energy, grudges, insult, hurt, that type of thing. Just letting that all go. I like seeing that. Also, the other thing about work too, as far as outside work, is I think that the budget is easing. You know, didn't we kind of have something like this last time around, Sagittarius, where you were being, no, last time you weren't being paid well, but you were getting accolades. This is, the money situation is getting easier, but you're still feeling like you're in a very vulnerable position and really confused about what's coming next. Okay, so what do we have here for that part of your personality which is being grown or expanded right now? There is some kind of disappointment that shows up for you, and it shows up around something that was toxic. Now that can be a lot of things. That can be like if you have some type of addiction issue. This can be if somebody in your sphere of influence has an addiction issue. This can be a toxic work situation, a toxic friendship. But there's something going on that is toxic that has disappointed you. It has led you to not such a good place. And you are making plans to sort of turn your, well, not just sort of, to turn your back on whatever this toxic thing or toxic situation is. I don't feel like you're turning your back on it just yet. I feel like you might feel like you need it right now, but you are making plans to turn your back on it. You're not going to be sticking with that any longer than you have to, I don't think. Next thing that we're looking at are things that you stand for, Sagittarius. What do we have here? You've become really focused on trying to manifest something, and you've become so focused on whatever this is that you're trying to create or manifest that you've kind of been letting some of your other responsibilities go. And I think somebody has sort of confronted you about that, and you've had to stand up for yourself whenever it comes to that. How this other person is seeing you right now, they're seeing you as going through a time that is not really very good. They're seeing you sort of as letting things fall through the cracks, but returning back to them, returning back to try to fix things, even though things have been sort of falling through the cracks. So basically, they're seeing you as struggling through a difficult time or a difficult situation, and just trying to make it all, you know, trying to keep your stuff together, basically, is what they're seeing. All right. Next thing that we're looking at here, Sagittarius, talks to me about your flex time. This is the time when things start to change direction for you a little bit during this time frame. So we're going to take a peek at it and see what all is going on here. You guys are coming out of a long-term contract or fulfillment. This could be work. This could be a marriage. This could be an exclusive relationship. It looks to me like you may be coming out of this because of somebody's just grumpiness and dissatisfaction. Somebody else's, not yours. And it may be that this other person has a child who's influencing them, who has their ear, who's just filling their head with nastiness, basically, that is turning them against continuing in any contract or agreement with you. So also at the same time, we do have somebody coming back from the past, but this is somebody that you are not very happy to see. This is not somebody that you have good memories with or that you want to rekindle anything with. I do feel like you may be doing something kind of rash with that person in spite of that. Just because you're missing this other person may cause you to do something kind of rash in spite of the fact that you don't want to get back together with this person that's from the past. What else is going on at the same time? No, you didn't. Whew. So this rash behavior just became something where now you're setting up boundaries against this person who made this decision with the child in their ear. This person who made that decision, you're setting up boundaries against them because it looks to me like you're restarting with this person from the past, even though you weren't all that happy to see them come in. Sagittarius, do you really feel like you have to be with somebody so bad that you would settle for someone from the past that you're not happy to see? You know, the beauty of these readings is things can come up that you can see that maybe you're not so thrilled about. And what you can do is if you do feel that energy coming in, first of all, it may not relate to you because it's general. So it won't relate to every single Sagittarius out there. But if you do feel that energy coming in and you know that you don't want the results of that, you have the chance, because you have free will, to make some different decisions and slide that off in a different direction. My cards don't have to come true just because they're on the table. You guys have free will. You guys can change that. Okay? So, where do we see you guys? The way the energy sits right now, where do we see you guys at the end of this time frame? Look at this. Yep, you guys are already calling it off. Where you just barely started something with this person from the past, you're already calling it off. You're saying, no, thank you. I don't know what I was thinking. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. But I do think you're still having a little bit of a backlash from that situation where somebody made a decision that wasn't fair about you because of things other people were whispering in their ear. And so you're kind of backlashing. I think that I think you're looking for attention and affection, just anywhere you can find it at this point. I don't think you want it from that person that you didn't like to see back, but I think you are looking for attention wherever you can find it and wherever you seek it. The thing is that this is bringing in results that you're not really happy about. What it's actually bringing in is people who have narcissistic tendencies are coming into your sphere of influence now as you're seeking in this manner. Because when we're vulnerable, which it sounds like from everything I'm seeing on these cards, you're probably feeling pretty vulnerable, then we draw in those people that basically are looking for an easy victim. And so that's who you're drawing in. You're drawing in somebody with narcissistic tendencies who feels like, your self-esteem is at a low right now, and they can sort of push you around and bully you and, emotionally intimidate you into doing whatever it is that they want you to do. So, please be careful. Try to take a break. Try to take a break and do some healing before you let somebody new into your life, because this does not look like fun to me. But that's just me. You guys could know exactly how to handle this in a good way. I don't see it, but hey, that doesn't mean I'm right. Anyway, Sagittarius, that is your month. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending some of your precious time here with me. Thank you also for all the thumbs ups on this video and for sharing it with others that may find it beneficial as well. And of course, thank you to those of you who are ordering private readings and private Reiki sessions from me. It is because of all of you guys' support at every single level that I am able to do what I love to do for my living. So I sincerely appreciate it. Everybody have a fantastic month. And if I don't see you here for a private between now and then I will see you back here on the next video. Peace out.